Hi everyone, welcome to Nice Driving 32, my favourite series, spreading positivity. I wouldn't recommend staying in the middle of a junction to help out an emergency service vehicle, but this situation worked brilliantly.
Where is it?
Behind us.
Yeah.
I don't know which way he's going. That's a good move because it stopped anybody coming out from that way.
You stopped anybody out from that way?
Yeah, by stopping there, I left room for the ambulance to get past, but it meant people coming from that way, you couldn't see where the ambulance was.
The analysis was on point also. This video has been kindly sponsored by CarVertical. One of my family members has bought a car and I'm going to show you what we discovered. This is a game that I often play. Spot the obstruction before the vehicles in front of you and give them room to move. And this is exactly what my viewer does here. The best decision for flow is where other drivers around you don't have to slow down or speed up to fit into a gap. And that's exactly what goes on here. Nice job. Very nicely dealt with the lorry driver who tried to bully their way out. And thanks a lot for sending in. Driving generally is all about planning, but sometimes you still have to have the reactions of a cat. How late did you see that? My viewer said that they nearly missed the private hire driver. But hang on a minute, the speed was good and they were able to observe effectively. This is good driving. Did the private hire driver choose lane 2 to reduce risk, or is that the lane that they normally drive in? This junction is quite unusually laid out, however, it should be something that's easily dealt with by all drivers, especially with everyone knowing the pedestrian priority rules at junctions. A perfect example of two good road users. The driver gave priority when they should have done, and also the cyclist didn't just ride straight out until they were given priority. Nice job. Recently, one of my family members purchased a new vehicle. It wasn't brand new, but it was 3 years old. They decided to go for a fully electric Polestar 2 and found what looked to be a decent deal at a national car dealership in Preston. So, naturally, the first thing on the agenda was to check the vehicle with CarVertical, and guess what we found? The simple and quick answer is nothing, as the report instantly gave us green lights across the board. The mileage seemed to check out, there was no problem with the financial or legal status, and there was no evidence of the vehicle ever being damaged. To be honest, most vehicles will check out in this matter, but even with this car being 3 years old and the recent heavy depreciation on electric vehicles, it was still significantly over £20,000. Could you afford to spend that much money and take the risk on not knowing the vehicle's history? A new addition to the services that CarVertical provide is the opportunity to get your vehicle checked by a licensed manufacturer-specific mechanic to give you that extra peace of mind. The CarVertical reports on their own should be your first step in the purchase process, but remember, the information that is obtained may very well lead you to investigate further. For example, if you find out the vehicle has been damaged, you'd want to ensure that it had been repaired properly. My family member didn't use this service on this occasion as the car comes with a 12-month warranty, but I will try and experience this extra service offered in the near future, and I'll let you know how I get on. Please use my link in the description, and by using the promo code Ashley when you're checking out your next potential purchase, you can save yourself 20%. Thanks, CarVertical. Quite often I'll happily give way to a lorry, even when I've got priority. Don't forget to keep an eye on your surroundings and make sure it's low in risk. But just think of the environmental effect, and it's a positive effect. That lorry uses much more fuel to speed up than you do, especially when you're using an electric car like my viewer. Thanks, Simon. My viewer's quick thinking in this clip was brilliant. Where do you want to be at the moment? The answer is with as much space around you as possible. Great job here. My message of best flow isn't just confined to the British Isles. It's nice to see it being used in different parts of the world.
An ice mountain of a single crystal sent the companions and a fleet of frigates. Within a week, the scum will scurry back to their holes where they belong. I have to agree with Elric, Seth said quietly.
I personally think this is where automated car systems are going to excel. Let me know what you think. In my opinion, the VFO A229 Pro gives the best footage out of all the VFO units. Links are in the description. Use the promo code Ashley and save yourself a further 5%. And this footage gives us a clear picture of my viewer doing a brilliant job to let the bus in this tight junction. Try and let buses flow wherever possible, because it encourages people out of the cars and onto public transport. Nice job, and thanks for your support. This clip's a little longer one, but we've got a few good situations. Would you have thought to hold back here? Well, it was quite important because the junction up at the top is blocked, and it doesn't look as though there's enough room for my viewer to join the traffic and then not impede the oncoming cars. So it was a great shout, and it was appreciated to hold back. The white Range Rover has given way correctly, and now there's room for my viewer to clear. All good here. Now we're approaching a very closed junction. Have a little look at the speed that my viewer emerges at. It allows them time to take effective observation, and I think the vehicle coming from the right was signalling left, and my viewer took care enough for them to definitely start turning before they went. Up ahead we've got a bend, some pedestrians on the left curb and a narrowing in space, and it's a good job my viewer held back. Going through there would have increased risk, and when the pedestrians look as though they wish to cross, my viewer gives them that priority, and that's a good shout because it protects them from the vehicles behind, and they had a good view to the left. The next thing on the agenda is this road on the left. It's the one in front of us, and just after that there's a narrow bridge that's only wide enough for one vehicle to go through at a time. It looks as though there's vehicles that have just gone from my viewer's direction, so my viewer correctly gives the people from the opposite side a chance to go. Would you have done this? Don't forget, the roads are all about sharing, and it's not just about your flow. It should be best flow for everyone, and this is appreciated by the oncoming vehicles. Looking down to the other end of the bridge, it's safe for my viewer to proceed, but it is quite narrow. Halfway up, there looks as though there's a widening. Is this to actually help traffic pass each other? For me, it doesn't look quite wide enough, especially with the width of modern cars. I think it was best to let the other vehicles clear first. But luckily this time my viewer's got a clear route through, and there's no one to deal with. So, all in all, quite an unusual section of road, and I thought my viewer did it nicely. Now, they're just going to have to wait for a train coming. Now, same viewer, same section of road as the last clip. Let's have a little look to see how they deal with this junction. We shouldn't have any problems here, the speed should be reasonable. And it is. Didn't even stop. Observations must have been effective. Now, we're coming up to this corner again. Think about what I said about a lack of space. Combine that with best flow for everyone, and it was definitely the best thing to hold back here to allow the bus to clear. Nice job, and again, it's appreciated. But is there anyone else coming? Not this time. All good. A perfect example of how to drive if you think you haven't been seen. I also think that it was a good idea for the other driver to reverse back. Although I don't think it's a brilliant rule, it is still possible to safely give way to pedestrians at the exits to roundabouts. Keep an eye on your surroundings though. This is a good example of how to do it.
I went to a scrapyard with my brother. Genuinely, it was a really sunny day, cold but sunny, my favourite kind of day. Morning, and went to a local scrapyard, and my brother said, "You're going to love that, you're going to love it, Johnny. There's a Reliance scimitar in which said definitely a dead..."
Simon got a grateful jog. Nice work with the roundabout being quiet behind you. There was plenty to watch in this clip, but notice how the lower speed allows you to take all these situations in and make the correct decisions. This is exactly how we all should be doing things. And to finish, I'm going to leave you with this. If a learner driver can anticipate this happening, shouldn't you? Keep safe everyone. I'll see you soon.